to submit for India with all the lies that have been,
Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to be reading the book, Honestly, Red Riding Hood Was Rotten. This is the story of Little Red Riding Hood as told by the wolf. The author is Trisha Shaskan. All right, boys and girls, let's figure out why Red Riding Hood wasn't so nice. All right. Chomp, chomp. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just finishing my lunch. My name's Wolf. Big Bad Wolf. You may have heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood. About a girl and her granny. Seems everyone has. My tale is different. Did I say tail? I meant tail. So he spelled the first tail like the tail you wag, and then the second tail like a story. Once upon a time, I ran out of food. Completely. The cupboards were bare, the freezers too, and I'd eaten every last vegetable and fruit in the garden. Every one. Other wolves might have lunched on little forest critters, chipmunks, bunnies, squirrels. But I'm a vegetarian. That's right. I don't eat meat. Well, I try not to. I love apples. Honeycrisp apples. Pink Lady, Golden Delicious, any kind, really. But sadly, it was a long time until apple harvest. I hadn't eaten in weeks. My stomach growled and howled and moaned and groaned. It even roared. Then my nose took over. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? A girl. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? Cake. Butter. In this forest? I had to investigate. And there she was, Little Red Riding Hood. She looked as plump and juicy as a big, sweet apple. Little Red waved her cape. Isn't it pretty? She said. Yeah, I said. Aren't I pretty? She said. Was she admiring herself in the puddle? With this cape, she said, I'm even prettier than usual. Boy, someone sure was full of themselves. My stomach growled. Little Red twirled a strand of hair. Mother says this cape looks good with my skin. My skin shines like pearls. Or the meat of a ripe apple, I thought, licking my chops. Remember, I hadn't eaten in weeks. Time to chomp. But then Little Red said, I can't wait until Granny sees how pretty I am today. I'm bringing her cake and butter from my mother. My stomach howled. 2 meals, I thought. Granny for breakfast, Little Red for lunch, and cake and butter for dessert. Where does Granny live? I asked. Little Red pointed down there in the clearing, the brown house. I knew that house, and I had a plan. Let's play a game, I said. Little Red smiled. I'm awesome at games. I bet you are. You take this path, I'll take that path, and let's see who arrives at Granny's first. I will, she said. I'm the prettiest and the fastest. I bet you are, I said. My stomach moaned. Before it groaned, I ran. No one knows the forest like I do. I chose the shorter path. Sniff, sniff. I took a whiff. What was it? Apple air freshener? Tap, tap. I knocked on the door. Who's there? Called out a voice. Your granddaughter, I squeaked. I've brought you cake and butter from Mother. Door's open, said Grandma. Granny tugged at her nightcap. Green, she said. Isn't it pretty? Pretty like a Granny Smith apple, I thought. Aren't I pretty? Said Granny. You must have heard the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, it's true. My stomach roared. What's that noise? Asked Granny. Chomp, chomp. I had to eat her. She was no Macintosh apple, but not too bad, and I still felt hungry. Tap, tap, tap. Little Red knocked at the door. Who's there? I called, crawling into Granny's bed. Your granddaughter, said Little Red. I've brought you cake and butter from Mother. Doors open, I said. Little Red walked in and caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror. Isn't my cape pretty, Granny? She said. Aren't I pretty? I clenched my teeth. Granny, Little Red said, what deep dark eyes I have. I said, the color of apple seeds. Granny, she said, what perfect ears I have. I said, shaped like sharply cut apple slices. Granny, she said, what pretty red lips I have. I said, red delicious. Granny, she said, what lovely skin I have. Chomp, chomp. I ate her up. What can I say? Things look different when you're hungry. She was no Fuji or crispin apple. In fact, to be honest, she was a little bit rotten, but she was better than nothing. Plus, I got dessert. The end, boys and girls. I really hope that you liked this book. I've also read Believe Me, Goldilocks Rocks, and seriously, Cinderella is so annoying for read alouds. All right, boys and girls, I really hope that you enjoyed it. I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, did you like the original Red Riding Hood better, or honestly, Red Riding Hood was rotten? I would have to say I like this book better because I think it's funny. And my second question is, what's your favorite type of apple? I really like the honey crisp apples because they're big and sweet. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed the read aloud. Have a great day. Bye now.